Okay, so here I am with another Mcfarlane Toys DC Direct. Not DC Multiverse, but it's pretty much the same thing. Uh, this is Superman with the Black Adam comic from their Page Punchers line. That's the 7-inch Page Punchers. And this is based on the artwork of Lee Brahemo. Am I saying that correctly? I hope so. I don't mean to disrespect the man. He is a good artist. But that's why Superman is in a slightly muted colors here. Got the comic book cover on the back, picture of the action figure. Looks like he comes with a flight stand, which, you know, I love flight stands. So let's not waste any more time on this packaging. Let's go ahead and open it up. It's pretty much the same packaging that we saw on the John Constantine, however you want to say that. That figure from this line. So if you've seen that video, you've already seen me talk about this packaging, basically. Really not much point in talking about it anymore. Then we got the little baggie in here with the comic, which is the same comic that we already had. It's the same exact comic that came with John Constantine. And then we've got, in this baggie, if this is, I would suspect this is probably the same write-up that we've seen on other Superman figures from Multiverse. If I can get it open, because it's just not wanting to open right. Come on. There we go. We'll go and read the back anyway. Sent from the dying planet Krypton as a baby, Kal-El was found by farmers Martha and Jonathan Kent and raised as their son Clark. As Clark grew up, the radiation from Earth's yellow sun gave him enhanced senses and extraordinary powers, including super strength, super speed, heat vision, X-ray vision, super hearing, super breath, and flight. Now, fully grown, he uses his powers to protect his adopted world as Superman. So yeah, pretty much the same write-up we've seen on other cards from this series. So him being Superman, he doesn't come with many accessories. He doesn't need many accessories. He's Superman. He's a flying brick. He's a he's a Swiss Army knife of superpowers. He doesn't need a grappling hook or a super ring or web shooters or anything. He's just Superman. So we got two open hands. So these would be good, for flight hands. I don't know if I'll wind up using them because he can fly just as well with his fists, I think. And then the dreaded rubber tabs. My least favorite form of action figure packaging, which I will very carefully cut with my X-Acto knife, especially this one that's here at his belt. And it was right on his belt. We'll see that in a second. They put the tab right on his belt, and it did leave a mark. Unless that's a second rubber tab on there. That might be a second rubber. Oh my god, there's a second rubber tab. Why would they put two rubber tabs? And this one's going to be like really tricky for me to get. One of them was like kind of over the top here, so it wasn't too hard to get at. But this one's like deep and embedded in the plastic, and I don't know how they expect you to get it. I just pulled it in the back and got it that way. So I think it might have marred the belt, but we'll see a little bit better when I get out of there. Oh, we still got them at the ankles too. I got to get the ones at the ankles. God forbid we have like a single limb on this figure that isn't held in by rubber tabs. All right, let's get him out of here. This is a very dramatic looking cape. I mean, have a look at that cape. Look how flowy that is. Mcfarlane goes nuts with these capes. And if you've seen the way Todd McFarlane draws capes, like, you probably understand why. Like, these guys could be in there sculpting these figures, and McFarlane probably come in and be like, what's up with that cape? There's like, a good quarter of an inch there where there's no wrinkles in it. You need to add some more wrinkles. So here's Superman out of the package. And it's a pretty impressive looking Superman figure. Now, granted, the colors, like I said, are kind of muted. but that's because of you know, it's based on the artist's style. Lee Brahamo, is that his name? I feel bad. I'm massacring this guy's name, but like, we'll go ahead and take Superman the comic out of the package, even though it's the same comic that I've already got. But we'll get it out of this poly bag. But you can see, if you compare the colors on there, that they match up pretty well. It's that same sort of deep crimson red and that same sort of almost grayish blue. I do wish the colors were a little more vibrant because, you know, it's Superman. You know, you want the colors to be fairly vibrant, but that's just his style. So the sculpt is really nice. He's got a nice physique. It's not overly bulky, but it's not skinny either. This is probably a good Superman physique. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Kurt Swan. And it's basically a classic Superman outfit. Like, it does have the cuffs, like the Action Comics 1000 type cuffs. And it does have this belt where it's like a fancier belt with a Superman emblem on the buckle. No belt loops, which is unfortunate. I think like it would have looked better with belt loops. I don't necessarily mind having a Superman emblem on the belt buckle, but I do feel like it's kind of unnecessary. And he's missing the emblem on the back of the cape, probably because, you know, they wanted to sculpt so many wrinkles into it. His emblem on his chest is slightly raised, as a lot of modern Superman figures do it. I think every Mcfarlane Superman figure I've seen has had at least a slightly raised emblem. Like, it's a little more subtle on, say, the Dark Knight Returns version, but these shoulder joints are like not loose, but they're not super tight. They're I feel like have a good amount of tension on them, like just enough. The bicep goes all the way around. That's a little tighter. He has like kind of that funky sort of Mcfarlane butterfly joint at the shoulder, where we can see it moving all over the place. That's really cool. So you can get his arm all the way up like that, down like that. It can move up and down, and kind of back and forth a little bit. It does look like on mine, the cape isn't quite glued on correctly at the shoulder. So you can see a little bit of space between the shirt and the cape. And you can see his skin sticking out between there. The other side looks fine. I may be able to pull this up and glue it back down in the correct position. He's got that great Mcfarlane torso articulation that I like so much, which gives you a really good range of movement in the torso and the abdomen. Can we get him into the classic Superman flight pose? I'm sure we can, because this guy's articulation seems to be really on point. Got double elbows, double knees, got the cool Mcfarlane ball joints at the wrists and ankles, although the ankles seem to me like, even though it does ball joint in the same way like I'm thinking of, this seems like a slightly more advanced version of it, where it's not like, the ball joint isn't actually a ball, it's actually sculpted with like wrinkles on the boots and stuff like that. And I do think that adds a little bit more verisimilitude, as Dick Donner might say. Classic Superman flight pose. Maybe this leg needs to come forward a little bit more. But yeah, that's Kurt Swan would be proud, I think. So, yeah, this is a pretty great Superman figure. Got a little bit of thigh swivel at top, not a lot, but a little bit. I think it kind of sticks. It looks like it's a separate piece, but I don't think there's actually a boot cut here. It's too bad, since there's actually a separate piece. I would think a boot cut would be possible and even easy to do. Head sculpt's not bad. I don't think it looks as much like Lee Brahamo's artwork as it potentially could, but it's a good Superman head sculpt. His hair is like really curly. It looks kind of like what I would imagine Henry Cavill's hair looks like when it gets really windy. So, yeah. His hands are pretty big. He's got some huge mitts, but yeah, not too bad. They probably look worse on the camera just because it distorts a little bit. But even in person, you can look at them and tell that those are some pretty big fists. So they probably could have made the fists a little smaller. But other than that, this is a pretty good Superman sculpt. Again, I kind of wish the colors were a little brighter, but considering who the artist was that they based it off of, it makes sense that they colored him this way, regardless as to whether I consider it ideal Superman coloring or not. It's accurate to the source material, so I can't really complain about that. And then last but not least, we got this flight stand. And as far as I'm concerned, every superhero should come with an action figure stand. And if it's Superman, making it a flight stand is just that much better. But if you don't want Superman to be on a flight stand, there's still a figure peg on this stand, so you could just stand him on there like a normal action figure stand. But I don't know why you would want to, since you have a flight stand and you could put Superman on your flight stand. So let's go ahead and open up the clip here. So there's a little clip that goes around his waist. And I think I'm going to put him in kind of a floating sort of pose, like so. I think that looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? Does that look cool? I like it. So, yeah. So, definitely recommend this figure, especially if you don't have, like, a vanilla kind of Superman figure. I don't have one, so this is, like, the closest that I have so far. I missed out on that Action Comics 1000 figure, and I really regret that I did, because it's a really nice figure. But, I think this one will suit my purposes as far as being a good, just sort of classic vanilla Superman figure. So I've got this one, and I've got the Rebirth Superman, and I've got the Dark Knight Returns Superman, and I'm going to see if I can get that bearded Superman in the black outfit, because I think he looks pretty cool. So, but I think that's about it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about this figure, Mcfarlane figures, Superman figures in general, just Superman, whatever. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.